Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the bioequivalence studies, the roles and responsibility. Basically, we'll be talking about the people who are involved in conduction of bioequivalence studies. If you want, you can refer the document New Drug Clinical Trials, that is NDCT Rules 2019. You have to refer chapter 5 part B, and you can also refer NDCT Rules 2029 chapter 7 study center, or you can visit the website as mentioned on the screen. So what are the learning objectives today? You're going to understand who are the people who are involved in bioequivalence studies conduction and what are their roles and responsibility. So before we move ahead, let us see some definitions. As per the rule 2E, the bioavailability has been defined as, it means a study to assess the rate and extent to which drug is absorbed from a pharmaceutical formulation and becomes available in the systemic circulation or availability of the drug at the site of action. So bioavailability, what is bioavailability? Bioavailability, we can say it is the rate and extent of absorption. As per rule 2F, what is bioequivalence? The bioequivalence means a study to establish the absence of statistically significant difference in the rate and extent of absorption of an active ingredient from a pharmaceutical formulation in comparison to the reference formulation having the same active ingredient when administered in the same molar dose under similar conditions. So here in bioequivalence study, we compare the rate and extent of absorption between the test drug and the standard drug. So what is the reference drug? Here is standard drug. A reference drug or reference formulation is a formulation which is already there in the market and which has well established clinical efficacy, and against which we are going to compare the bioavailability of test formulation. Now what is efficacy? As per rule 2M, efficacy can be defined as it is in relation to a drug, means its ability to achieve the desired effect in a controlled clinical trials. So when we talk about efficacy, it is achieving the desired effect in a controlled clinical setting. And what is effectiveness? Effectiveness in relation to drug means its ability to achieve the desired effect in a real world clinical situations after approval of the drug. So efficacy, it is the desired effect, but in a controlled clinical trial, that is before the drug gets licensed for a marketing. But once a drug formulation comes into market, and then when we talk about its efficacy, it is known as effectiveness. What is investigational product? It has been defined under rule 2S. It means the pharmaceutical formulation of an active ingredient or a placebo being tested or used in a clinical trial. Who is investigator? Investigator, as per rule 2T, it means a person who is responsible for conducting clinical trials at the clinical trial site, or a person who is responsible for conducting bioequivalence trials. In India, investigator is a medical doctor who is registered with Medical Council of India. Now what is placebo? A placebo means an inactive substance visually identical in appearance to a drug being tested in a clinical trials. As per rule 2HH, who is sponsor? Sponsor is a person, or it is a company or an institution or an organization responsible for initiation and management of clinical trials. Who is a trial subject? It is clearly defined in rule 2JJ. A trial subject means a person who is either a patient or a healthy person to whom investigational product or a new drug is administered for the purpose of clinical trial or bioequivalence or bioavailability trial. What is study center? A study center, it is a center created to undertake bioequivalence study after drug for either clinical part or for both clinical or analytical part of the study. So study center is a center where you are going to conduct the bioequivalence trials. Now, what is new drug? As per CDSCO, a new drug, it is a drug already approved by the licensing authority mentioned in the Rule 21 for certain claims, which is now proposed to be marketed with modified or new claims, namely indications, dosage form, including sustained release dosage form and route of administration. So we can say that new drug is a modified version of already well established drug formulation, which is already there in the market, and you have to refer chapter 5 part A if you want to conduct clinical trials of a new drug, and if you want to conduct clinical trials of a bioequivalence studies, then guidelines have been given in the part B of NDCT rules 2019, and the chapter 7 of NDCT rules 2019, it talks about the bioequivalence study center. What are the requirements and how you are going to set up, and what are the approval requirements for a study center. Now, what about the permissions? Whether permission is required to conduct bioequivalence study, whether protocol is required to get approved before initiation of the study, then what is the role of ethical committee, what is the role of sponsor, what is the role of investigator in bioequivalence studies. As per Rule 31, you cannot conduct bioequivalence studies if you don't have permission from the Central Licensing Authority. So Rule 31 says that no bioequivalence study without permission granted by the Central Licensing Authority. You also have to follow the general principle and practices as specified in the first schedule of NDCT 2019. For more details, you can visit the website. Now, Rule 32 of NDCT 2019, it talks about oversight of bioavailability of bioequivalence study centers. So, the work of every bioequivalence study center shall be overseen by the EC, that is Ethical Committee, registered under Rule 8 before initiation and throughout the duration of conduct of study. So you have to get your ethical committee registered. If your ethical committee is not registered, you cannot initiate the bioequivalence trials. Now, Rule 33, it is about the application. You have to apply to Central Licensing Authority using the form CT05 if you want to conduct the bioequivalence or bioavailability study. Besides filling the application form CT05, you need to pay the specified fees as mentioned in 6th schedule. You also have to provide the information and documents as specified in the table 2 of the 4th schedule. Now, as per Rule 35, what are the conditions of permission to conduct bioequivalence study? So, the permission granted by CLA under Rule 34 shall be subject to the following conditions. So, what are these conditions? The bioequivalence study shall be initiated after approval of bioequivalence study protocol by the Registered Ethics Committee. So, before you get the permission to conduct bioequivalence studies, the protocol designed by the investigator must be approved by the Ethics Committee. If Ethics Committee does not approve your protocol, you do not get permission from the Central Licensing Authority. The bioequivalence study of new drugs or investigational new drug shall be conducted only in bioequivalence bioavailability registered study center. So, On what basis you'll get the permission to conduct bioequivalence study? Number one, that your protocol, it must be approved by the ethics committee. Second, the study center, it also be approved by the Central Licensing Authority. Now what is this study center? As per NDCT Rule 2019, the study center means the center created or established to undertake bioavailability or bioequivalence studies of a drug or a new formulation or a new drug for either clinical part or for both clinical or analytical part of such study. Now, what are the conditions for registration of study center? So it has been mentioned in Rule 49 of NDCT 2019 rules. The center shall maintain the facilities and adequately qualified and trained personnels. So in order to get your center approved, the center must have the adequate facilities and all the personnels should be trained and well qualified. The center shall initiate study after approval of protocol and other related document by the EC for the clinical trials and permission of such study center granted by the Central Licensing Authority, that is CLA. Now, what is clinical protocol? Every clinical investigation begins with the development of clinical protocol. Whether you are conducting a clinical trial or a bioequivalence trial, you need to have a protocol, and this protocol must be approved by the ethics committee before you initiate either the bioequivalence trial or a clinical trials. Now this protocol, it is a document that describes how a clinical or a bioequivalence trial will be conducted. It includes objective of your bioequivalence trial. Why are you going to conduct this trial? What design you have to follow? The methodology, statistical considerations, and organization of the bioequivalence or a clinical trial, and ensures the safety of the trial subjects and integrity of data collected. Now this slide shows the content of protocol. So it includes title page. Now title page includes table of contents, study rationale, study objectives, study design, study population, subject eligibility criteria, study assessment, study conduct, study treatment. It also includes the information about the possible adverse events, then ethical considerations, study monitoring and supervision, IP management, data analysis, and undertaking by the principal investigator, and appendices. This protocol is more or less similar in all the countries, whether it is developing country or developed country. You need to design a protocol before you initiate the bioequivalence trials. So this slide shows the general content of a protocol. You need to include all these points before you design a protocol for a clinical or a bioequivalence trials. Then who are the people who are involved in conduction of bioequivalence trials? It includes sponsor, ethical committee, and investigator. Now let us see what are the responsibilities of sponsor. The sponsor is responsible for selection of investigator and institution. So as we discussed before, investigator is a medical doctor in India and he is registered with Medical Council of India. If any doctor is not registered with Medical Council of India, he cannot be selected as an investigator. Especially this is applicable in India. So sponsor, he is responsible for selection of investigator and the institution where the clinical studies will be conducted. is going to provide information on the investigational product, its supply, storage, and handling. He is also responsible for compliance of protocol as per good clinical practices and regulations. So a sponsor must follow the guidelines as specified by the good clinical practices. Implementation of quality assurance system, monitoring and audit, submission of status report, reporting of adverse events, serious adverse events is also the responsibility of the sponsor. The financial compensation in case of any death or injury is also responsibility of a sponsor. Now let us see what are the responsibilities of ethical committee. Review and approval of trial protocol. The protocol will be designed by the principal investigator. It has to be reviewed by the ethical committee. As we discussed previously, if protocol is rejected by the ethical committee, the investigator cannot conduct the bioequivalence trials. So it is the responsibility of ethical committee to approve the bioequivalence protocol after review it. So review of ongoing trials, whether it is clinical or bioequivalence trials. Ethical committee is also responsible to review periodic study progress reports, reporting of serious adverse events, forwarding of serious adverse event reports to the licensing authority, and reporting any changes in the protocol. Now let us see what are the responsibilities of investigator. Investigator is responsible for the conduct of bioequivalence trials, clinical trials, as per the protocol and guidelines. This is the protocol which has already been approved by the ethics committee. He has to follow strictly the guidelines as mentioned in the protocol. There should not be any kind of deviation. If there is any deviation, he has to inform the ethics committee and must seek their approval. Investigator is also responsible for developing the standard operating procedure for conduction of bioequivalence trials. Reporting of adverse events and serious adverse events. He has to ensure adequate medical care provided to the subject or the trial subject, the volunteers. He has to provide information through ICF, and he has to inform the nominee in case of injury and death. So these are the responsibilities of investigator. So I would like to summarize what we discussed today. So we discussed today various definitions, important definitions related to the bioequivalence, like what is investigational product, investigator, what is placebo, who is sponsor, what is trial subject, what do you mean by study center, what is new drug, then what document you need to refer if you want to conduct bioequivalence trials, then what kind of permission you require to have in order to initiate the bioequivalence, whether protocol is required or not required, then what are the roles of various people who are involved in conduction of clinical trials, such as the ethics committee, what is the role of investigator, what is the role of sponsor. So this is all about the responsibilities. So I thank you for your patience listening, and if you have any query, just please let me know, and we'll be discussing in our regular session. So thank you all.